So hello everyone. So I am Dr. Vanita will be dealing about the nervous system of rabbit in the case study of mammals. So rabbit is being used as a case study and there are number of systems we have studied, and today we will be discussing about nervous system of rabbit. So nervous system comprises of three major systems. The first one is central nervous system, comprising of brain and spinal cord. The second is the peripheral nervous system, comprising of 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 37 pairs of spinal nerves. The last is the autonomic nervous system. So, the purpose of nervous system in mammals and in this particular rabbit is that it facilitates rapid sensory processing and motor responses essential for survival, including fear responses like freezing or running. As we are acquainted about rabbit, which is a swift moving animal and just very fast in its movement. So all this kind of movements and these kind of responses, running and freezing and fear responsive, are controlled by the nervous system. Now, central nervous system, or the first aspect of the nervous system, includes brain and now when we see the structure of the brain, it is located in the cranial cavity and it is protected by meninges, which are the dura mater, arachnoid and the pia mater. And the brain includes forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. So these are the three regions of the brain: forebrain, midbrain and the hindbrain. So we'll be knowing about these regions of the brain. Now forebrain consists of further divisions, which is the olfactory lobe, cerebral hemispheres. So these are the two different cerebral hemispheres which are present, and the diencephalon. Diencephalon is the third important part of the forebrain. So important functions of the forebrain. The first important one is which is olfactory lobes. The olfactory lobes or bulbs of rabbit are highly developed, and these are prominent structures at the forebrain's anterior, at the top portion of the brain, and these are essential for the keen sense of smell. Olfactory means the senses of the smell, and this olfactory information with specific glomerular layers mapping, they are useful for mapping the odor data or the data related to the smell. And the rabbit pups depend on these lobes to detect the maternal pheromones shortly after birth. So olfactory lobes are important organs of the brain which is related to the smell. Second is cerebral hemispheres. So cerebral hemispheres are divided by a layer. So there are two cerebral hemispheres, and these are paired components, and they are responsible for processing the sensory input, voluntary movement and cognitive functions. They are connected by a band of nervous tissue. So this band of nervous tissue is called as the corpus callosum, and these hemispheres possesses well defined rhinal and sagittal fissures, and the right hemisphere is oftenly larger than the left hemispheres. Now, as you see the structure of the cerebral hemispheres divided into right and left, and the right being larger than the left. Now, when we happen to know about the ratio of the gray matter, so this gray matter is over 80% and the white matter is around 70 to 18%. So this corpus callosum, as we have known, this is the partition between the two hemispheres, is a prominent white matter structure that connects the two hemispheres. And the development in young rabbits, a 4-year-old, the cerebrum is compact and it is having a distinct olfactory tracts. The last region of the brain is the diencephalon. So this is central essential part of the forebrain and it is situated between the cerebrum and the midbrain, and it consists of thalamus, hypothalamus, epithalamus, forming walls and floor of the third ventricle, and it regulates crucial homeostatic functions including cardiovascular control, arousal, sensory processing. So these are some of the important functioning of the organism which is being maintained by the diencephalon. So these functions include cardiovascular control, that means control of the heartbeat, and arousal and sensory processing of information is done by the diencephalon. In addition, homeostatic function is also done by the diencephalon. So these are the three regions of the forebrain which we have dealt, which is the olfactory lobes, cerebral hemispheres, and the diencephalon. So all the three are very crucial for the brain functioning of the brain. So coming to the second part of the brain, this is the midbrain. The midbrain is also called as the mesencephalon of rabbit, and it is a small central part of the brain. As you can see the structure here, the midbrain consists of optic lobes, and this is called as corpora quadrigemina, and it serves as critical centers for visual and auditory reflexes. So these are the centers which control the eye movements, and they also are they are responsible for the functioning of the eye and the movements of the eye. So so one of the important aspect of brain, the midbrain, is responsible for the optic. Optic means the eyes, and it is related for the control of the eye movement. And these are small when compared to other regions of the brain. As midbrain is there, the regions are very small because visual processing is largely managed by highly developed occipital lobe of the cerebral cortex rather than the midbrain. So these small lobes, they function for reflex reaction to motion, while the cerebrum handles detailed visual perception. So the perception is handled by the cerebrum, whereas this particular region of the midbrain is mainly for the reflex reactions to the motion. And coming to the last part of the brain, which is the hindbrain. The hindbrain is also called as rhombocephalon, and it is the posterior part of the brain. It consists of three main parts: cerebrum. So this is the blue shaped structure which is the cerebellum, pons, and medulla oblongata. It is responsible for vital functions including equilibrium, movement, involuntary reflexes, and respiratory control. So there are number of involuntary actions occurring in the body. So these are carried out by the hindbrain. So these actions which are involuntary, which includes involuntary reflexes and some kind of respiratory control and equilibrium of the body. Coming to the components and functions of these, we'll be knowing about some of the important components called cerebellum, which are pear-shaped individual structures, and it is called as a little brain, which controls the skeletal muscle movement, balance, and posture. Whereas pons is the fiber. There is a fibrous tract present of neurons located on the base of the brain, and it bridges different regions and regulates the breathing processes. The last region is the medulla oblongata. It's a small, conical, hollow part, and it controls involuntary actions such as cardiovascular reflexes, respiration, and secretion. So these are the important functions of the three regions of the brain which we have discussed. So after the knowing about the brain, we move on to the central nervous system. So what are the important aspects of the central nervous system? The central nervous system consists of spinal cord, and it extends from the brain with the 3 cervical and 20 thoracic and 7 lumbar and 4 sacral pairs of spinal nerves. So as we are acquainted the spinal nerves, so these are the important information of the spinal nerves which are 8 cervical, there are 8 cervical spinal nerves. We have 12 thoracic spinal nerves, followed by 7 lumbar spinal nerves and the 4 sacral spinal nerves. So, when we know about this particular development of the central nervous system, so neural tube closure occurs around 7.5 days of gestation, with brain vesicles forming around the day. In the gestation period and day 7 of gestation period, this particular neural tube starts growing, and it is at this time where brain vesicles are formed. So, peripheral nervous system. So, after the central nervous system, we know about the peripheral nervous system. This peripheral nervous system consists of nerves, like 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 37 pairs of spinal nerves. So here we are having the structure of the cranial nerves. So 12 pairs of cranial nerves are connecting directly to the brain. So these are different 12 pairs of the cranial nerves. So in an order of the cranial nerves, we have the olfactory nerve, which are related to the sense of smell, followed by optic nerve, which are related to vision, and the third important cranial nerve is oculomotor nerve. So this nerve is related to eye movement and pupil contraction. The fourth cranial nerve is the trochlea, which is related to the eye movement, like dorsal oblique muscle and the muscles involved in the eye. The fifth cranial nerve is the trigeminal nerve, and this nerve is related to the facial sensation and mastication or chewing. So these are the important function of the trigeminal or the fifth nerve. So these are the representation of the different nerves. So here we have the olfactory nerve, and then the optic nerve, oculomotor nerve, which is behind the optic nerve, followed by trochlear. These are green shaped, green structure, and then trigeminal nerve, and we'll be knowing about other nerves too. Now, sixth nerve is the abductor or the lateral eye movement. The lateral eye movement is due to the abductance. Now, seventh nerve is the facial nerve or the facial expressions of the face. So, this particular nerve is responsible for the facial expression and also the taste. The eighth cranial nerve is responsible for vestibulocochlear or the auditory nerve, and this is responsible for hearing and balance of the body. As ears are responsible, the structures of the ears are responsible for hearing as well as the balance. The ninth nerve is responsible for the taste and swallowing. So this is the glossopharyngeal nerve. The 10th nerve is the vagus nerve, and this is parasympathetic control of heart, lungs and viscera. So vagus nerve is responsible for this particular regions of the heart, lungs, and this is with reference to the parasympathetic control. The 11th nerve is the accessory nerve, and these are the nerve related to the neck and the pharynx. And the last nerve is the hypoglossal nerve, which is regarded to the movement of the tongue. So these are the 12 cranial nerves which are there in the peripheral nervous system. In addition to the peripheral nervous system, we also have the spinal nerves. These spinal nerves are 37 in number, and these are 37 pairs of nerves from the dorsal root and the ventral root. That means these are both sensory as well as motor. Now, when we compare these spinal nerves to humans, in humans we have around 31 pairs of spinal nerves, but rabbits have around 37, which are more in number compared to humans. And these emerge from the spinal cord to provide both sensory as well as the motor control, and they arise from the spinal cord segments which are related to 8 cervical, thoracic, 12 thoracic, 7 lumbar, 4 sacral and 6 caudal pairs. So as we are acquainted about the vertebrae which are present, the different kinds of vertebrae which are present are cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral and caudal pair. So from these vertebrae, these spinal nerves start. So the regional distribution of the rabbit spinal nerves are cervical C1 to C8. We have 8 pairs of cervical nerves, followed by thoracic from thoracic bone 1 to thoracic bones 12. We have 12 pairs of thoracic nerves, which are the spinal nerves. Then the lumbar region. In the lumbar region, the bones 1 to lumbar 7th lumbar vertebrae, we have the 7 pairs of the spinal nerves. So these are related to the vertebrae which are present. The cervical vertebrae, which are the vertebrae which are present in the neck regions, are 8 pairs of cervical vertebrae are having 8 pairs of the spinal nerves, and the thoracic vertebrae are having, which are 12 in number, are again having 12 pairs of spinal nerves, followed by the lumbar vertebrae. These lumbar vertebrae are 7 in number, and there are 7 pairs of spinal nerves, followed by sacral vertebrae, which are 4 in number and 4 pairs of spinal nerves, and the last is the caudal or the tail region, which are 6 bones, 6 vertebrae of the caudal region and the 6 pairs of the spinal nerves. Now each pair consists of the dorsal root or the sensory root, and as well as the ventral, the motor root. So it is also having the sensory and the motor control, and it is termed as a mixed nerve on the account of having both sensory as well as the motor coordination. So these are the representation of the spinal nerves which are arising from the different vertebrae of the spinal cord. The last one is the autonomous nervous system. The autonomous nervous system are the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nerves. Now, autonomous nervous system having these two kinds of nerves, they regulate the involuntary functions like the heart rate and digestion. So these kind of processes of physiological function are carried out by the autonomous nervous system, as the name indicates, autonomous or on its own, which are again divided into sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So knowing what is parasympathetic nervous system, knowing firstly the sympathetic nervous system. So sympathetic nervous system, it acts in fight or flight scenarios. That means whenever the body is in some kind of a danger or some kind of stress, this particular nervous system or sympathetic nervous system comes to action, and it is referred as fight or flight scenario, or whenever the system is in stress, and it does a function of elevating or increasing the heart rate and reducing the digestion and constricting the blood vessels. Now key studies in rabbit indicate that sympathetic nervous system nerve supply to the bone is richly according to the adrenal function, and it is surrounding the vessels with nerve inputs coming from the peripheral sympathetic trunk. So sympathetic nervous system, referred as a fight or flight function, has an enormous amount of function when the animal is in stress or prone to some kind of stressful situation. And the physiological symptoms include reducing the digestion, increasing the heart rate, and constricting the blood vessels. After the sympathetic, we move on to the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, parasympathetic nervous system is the nervous system which is regulating the heart rate and increasing digestion, and it is the nervous system which is managing the rest and digestion function. That means it is a nervous system which is regulating the body function in the normal state of living. When the body is in a normal state and it is in a quite in a cordial situations, this particular nervous system is functioning, and it is helping in the body to it is helping in the organism to rest and digest. So these kinds of functions are being carried out, and the heart rate is reduced, and the digestion is increased, and it includes one of the important cranial nerve, which is the vagus nerve and the sacral nerves. So vagus nerve, when it is activated, it controls or regulates the functioning of the organs, and it controls and regulates to a more normal state, and the functioning of organ system are done in a very regulated manner. And this is about the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the nervous system which is regulating the normal state of living of the organism. So, so important nerves are the vagus as well as the sacral nerves. When we happen to look at the sympathetic, this nervous system operates when the organism is under stress. So otherwise, the normal nervous system which is functioning in the organism is the parasympathetic nervous system only. So this, it is controlling all the organ system, conducting the various functions of the body, various like kidneys and digestion, increased digestion, so that the body functioning and metabolic rate is good, and reduced heart rate. So these are the normal physiological functions happening in the by the parasympathetic nervous system, and sympathetic is only when the organism is in stress. So these are the two systems of the automatic nervous system. So as we have dealt about these systems, the important aspect of the last nervous system, which is the automated nervous system. Coming to these coming to concluding these systems, we know about the three important nervous systems, which are the central nervous system, peripheral, and autonomic nervous systems, important for the functioning of the body, the functioning of the regulated system of mammal. And when we are knowing about the different aspects of the nervous system, we have the central nervous system having brain and spinal cord, peripheral nervous system having 12 pairs of the cranial nerves and 37 pairs of spinal nerves, and autonomic nervous system, which are having the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous systems. So these are the three different kinds of nervous system we have dealt, and dealing with the first important aspect of the nervous system, which is the brain and spinal cord. The brain having different regions, the forebrain, the midbrain, and the hindbrain. Forebrain conducts functions related to the auditory functions, and related to smell, related to various functionings, where cerebral hemispheres are responsible for different kinds of functions of the body, and the diencephalon, which are the optic or the related to vision. Coming to the midbrain, we have dealt about the important characteristics which is related to visual and the auditory reflexes, and the hindbrain is related to many kind of involuntary reflexes. So these functions of the brain help us to know about the how organism is operating in various systems. And the central nervous system consists of the spinal cord. The second aspect is the spinal cord. We have dealt about brain, and the second is the spinal cord, which is extending from the brain with different kinds of the spinal nerves. So after knowing about the central nervous system consisting of brain and spinal cord, we have the peripheral nervous system consists of cranial nerves and the spinal nerves. So these cranial nerves having 12 pairs are having number of functions to coordinate, and 37 pairs of spinal nerves are having various functions which are conducted in the body. and these cranial nerves, which are 12 pairs connecting directly to the brain, consists of various kinds of auditory and visual functions like sense of smell, vision, eye movement, facial expressions, and eye movements, hearing and balance, and parasympathetic control controlled by the vagus nerves, and some more functions of the movement of the tongue and the muscles. So these are the important cranial nerves which we have dealt in this particular the second function of the brain. So after knowing about the cranial nerves, we dealt about the spinal nerves, which included 37 pairs of the spinal nerves. So peripheral nervous system consists of these kind of nerves, both cranial and spinal nerves, helping to coordinate various sensory and the motor functions of the body, which are again related to different kind of vertebrae of the body. So peripheral nervous system consisting of the cranial nerves and the spinal nerves. So after the cranial nerves and the spinal nerves, we have dealt about autonomous nervous system consisting of sympathetic and parasympathetic system, where these two systems are in contrary to each other. Both are having different functions. In the normal functioning, parasympathetic nervous function, and when the system is in stress or when the organism is in stress, sympathetic nervous system functions. So what is the difference in these two? Parasympathetic nervous system is more of the harmonious functioning of the body, whereas sympathetic nervous system helps the body by secreting more of hormones of the adrenal glands and helps the organism to prepare the organism for the flight or the fight scenario. So like this we find both the systems helping the organism to sustain a very harmonious life with parasympathetic, and with the stressful situation, sympathetic control. So a nervous system consisting of three different systems are crucial for the functioning of the body. And as we have discussed, central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, autonomic nervous systems are the important system which are the core systems of nervous system, which regulates the animal for adaptability and survival. And this is one of the important systems of the mammals, and these systems are similar in all the mammals. And rabbit is, as it is a case study to study the nervous system, this is the basis of the functioning of the nervous system, which can be applied to understand the system in various mammals. So by this I would like to conclude about the important nervous system which we have known in this class, and how this nervous system is important for the functioning of various this coordination of the motor and reflexes of our body. And as this nervous system consists of central nervous system, an important part of the brain and spinal cord, peripheral nervous system consisting of 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 37 pairs of spinal nerves, and autonomic nervous system consisting of the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. So these three different nervous systems are regulating the functioning of the body, and important component of the central nervous system is the brain, where we happen to find the gray matter and the white matter, and these are the core areas to study about how there is rapid sensory processing and motor responses essential for survival of various adaptive responses like freezing, running, moving swiftly, and conducting various function like eating, movement, and these are regulated by the nervous system. So, brain happening to be the important organ in addition to spinal cord constituting the central nervous system, followed by the peripheral nervous system consisting of the spinal nerves and the cranial nerves, and the last system, which is the automative nervous system consisting of the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. So, these kind of systems are helping the organism for the proper functioning, as well as helping the organism in regulating its body with the motor and the sensory reflexes. And there are number of organs like cerebellum, where we are having some more important functioning being carried out. So we have dealt about cerebellum, medulla oblongata, the various functions of the brain, and peripheral nervous system consists of the different kinds of nerves. So these nerves are connected and also responsible for various functioning of the body related to the auditory functioning, the function related to vision, movement of the facial expressions, and the tongue, the taste. So there are a number of nerves responsible for these kind of functioning, in addition to the spinal nerves, which are responsible for some kind of reflexes of the body. The number of time there are some kind of reflexes. So these kind of reflexes are coordinated or controlled by the spinal nerves, and autonomic nervous system responsible for maintaining harmonious functioning of the body by the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. So on the whole, we find these three nervous systems are responsible for efficient functioning of the body, and they also control many kind of physiological processes carried out in the body, as nerves are the important regions controlling the various physiological processes in the body. So nervous system happens to be one of the important system controlling various functions of the body and various movements of the body and physiological processes of the body. So knowing more about nervous system are helping us to know how the animal is being adapted to that kind of mode of life of mammals.